good potential for having a fire in here at any time. We're on the west side of 8 Battery, looking at the next push that will be coming up, which should be around number 873 door. We're going to take a look at that today and see if we can't show you a way that we might take care of our fires that we do have along the hot tracks. Okay. Of the coke ovens, we put in sprinkler systems back in 1980. The diesel fire pump is down almost opposite the switchback from the car dumper. It runs down and supplies water to all of coal handling, down the conveyors, through the junction houses, and up to the top of the coal bins. Each of the junction houses has hose reels available in them so that we can use high pressure water off of the diesel fire pump in the conveyors. There's also a possibility that we could use that same diesel fire pump to give us fire protection on the tracks. Let's take a look at one of the hose reels and we'll discuss how we can do that. Have high pressure water coming from the diesel pump house when the diesel pump is turned on. We can operate this hose reel by turning on a hand wheel on the valve over here, taking the nozzle and operating water. In order to start the diesel pump house, we have to first pull the manual pull station, which sends an electric signal to the transfer station and turns on the diesel pump automatically. The diesel fire pump has in the building sprinkler systems and deluge valves for the hose reels that we just saw up in the junction house. These are the two inside ones. The deluge systems are the outside ones. The system is operated by our controller over on the far wall. Let's take a look at that. It's operated by this controller. The controller is an automatic operation and turns the fire pump on by loss of water pressure. Something happens opening one of the valves, which in turn flows water pressure. the pressure in the mains drop, and the diesel pump turns on automatically. When that happens, someone should respond to this diesel fire pump to make sure that it's operating properly. All the time that this pump operates, someone should be in this building to operate and maintain the cooling system on the diesel pump and to make sure that the water is flowing as needed. There are switches in here, and this switch will stop the diesel fire pump. Back at the east side, the building that you see in the foreground there has 4 more valves in it, the same configuration as we saw in the diesel fire pump building. The lines go all the way to the top of the building, and from there out to the various sprinkler systems and hose reels that are covered by this system. The extreme left side, the 2 sprinklers in the center, and the 2 hose reel systems on the extreme ends. The same design as the one that we saw in the diesel fire pump house. The transfer station we spoke of before is where the alarm panels are for both the diesel fire pump and the sprinkler system's hose reels. The transfer station is where the coke is now graded and prepared for shipment. It goes through the surge bins, and from there is loaded onto the coal cars. The transfer station where the coke is now loaded into coal cars or into trucks for... Go ahead. That's all right, he doesn't bother me. The coal is loaded into trucks for shipment. In the corner you see a red panel. This red panel covers the protector wire system, which is over in the coal field, and also has alarms for the diesel fire pump, which is down, and we saw that in our previous pictures. Next to this you see a blue panel with a light on up there. This blue panel is the sprinkler systems and also the deluge systems for the hose reels. Should an alarm come in for one of those systems, the diesel pump automatically starts and supplies water to those systems. If the diesel fire pump starts, as we said before, it's necessary that someone go down and check it to make sure that the pump is running properly and does not turn off for any reason except turning it off manually by the button that we've looked at before. Okay. Spoke of before, should we ever have a fire in there, it's necessary that we be extremely careful because there are 2 radioactive sensors in there that will look at the level of the coal in the bin. There it comes now. Great shot, John. Let's go on. Look at our security office at 6 Gate and take a look at the central alarm boards. Gate security respond to all alarms that we've got here and will take the necessary information to get us the correct response that we need for any particular situation, whether it is our clinic cars, our ambulance, or fires. On the wall next to the security guard, you'll notice our central alarm board. The central alarm board is broken up into various divisions where we had alarms for the coke ovens, the galvanized, and the bar top panel right-hand side. Those alarms are doubled from the alarm that comes into the transfer station that we just looked at. The transfer station alarm does not tell us that what particular system went off, but rather that there is an alarm on one of the panels over there. It's necessary for 6-gate to contact the transfer station by telephone or radio and thus find out what the alarms are. Stop. An alarm is received at the panel board, and an alarm sounds here to tell the operator that he needs to do something. It looks something similar to this. He then can acknowledge it, stop the audible alarms, and check to see what light has lit on the boards, and thus tell them where to contact to find out further information on it. His next response would be to take one of the alarm response sheets that he has and to fill it out with the proper information that he has. Let me show you one of those so that you get an idea of what he has to do. This response sheet has a number of questions on it that need to be asked of the caller to give them the proper information for the company that is coming in to respond to this. One of the basic questions that it needs to have is, do you know what's burning? And if so, give them that information so that they can respond to the fire company coming in and have them prepared to take care of the fire situation that we need them to respond to. Thank you. We're standing on the north side of the diesel pump house. Right now you're looking up at the conveyor 39 heading to 3940 junction house and up to 7 bin. That is where we looked at the hose reel previous to this. Right now we're going to talk a little bit about the hoses and the connections to the hoses that we have. In my hands here I have 2 adapters. These adapters will connect one type of hose to another. You'll notice that the 2 of them have different thread designs on them. One in my right hand is called NPSH or IPSH. IPSH meaning industrial pipe straight hose or iron pipe straight hose. NPSH means National Pipe Straight Hose. This thread design is called NST, National Standard Thread. It is a common thread to all fire systems. You'll notice that both of these couplings have a rubber gasket inside them. The rubber gasket is for the seating of the hoses when they are connected. Iron pipe and National Standard Thread are both straight threads rather than tapered threads, which you would usually find on iron pipe or piping that you've got in the hose. That pipe out of the hose. That pipe is designed so that when the threads are screwed together, the taper in them jams the pipe threads together. This thread design is designed so that when it is screwed together, it physically seats on the rubber gaskets on the bottom of the threads. I have on the ground here a number of different hose links, some wrenches, some nozzles, and different paraphernalia that you should find on the turn truck. The turn truck was designed to carry hoses, wrenches, nozzles, and things that might be beneficial for them to use on a fire scene. We're going to attempt to connect some of these together right now, and I'll show you how they work. hose is called Redskin hose. It is a chemical resistant hose, and we use it quite popularly around the coke ovens. The thread design on this one is NST. We're going to take this hose and connect this NST hose to the hard rubber hose that you find laying on the ground here. That hard rubber hose is NPSH. In order to connect the two of them together, I must first take an adapter that we looked at before and physically connect this to this hose. You'll notice that these adapters will screw right on here. The seat at the bottom of the hose on that gasket. Now that I've done that, I can take this NPSH hose and connect it to the NST or National Standard Thread, the Angus hose. Wheel of 40 right here, and drag it out so that we could have high pressure water on the ground down there. We now have the ability of taking water from that high pressure line, connecting it to the hose reels that were and the hose that we have on the turn truck, and giving us additional hose line to take it to the tracks should we have a spill on the tracks. And you do not need any wrenches to put them together. All hose designs are meant to be hand tight. Put on a hydrant that we have here, an adapter that goes from 2.5-inch hose, which is what this fitting is, down to 1.5-inch NST, this Angus hose design. Let's take this hose and stretch it out and put a nozzle on it and see if we can't flow some water. We've now connected the hose to the hydrant, and we're going to have to put a nozzle on the other end. Nozzle in my left hand that has the ability of going to a straight stream. Very similar to the type of nozzle that you've got on your garden hose at home. In my right hand, I've got an electric nozzle which is designed to be used on the west side of the battery, especially because we've got the potential of having the hot rails over there, and getting water on the hot rails is dangerous if we've got a straight stream, because a straight stream of water is conductive. You'll notice that this nozzle has a mark on it that tells you that it is an electric nozzle. There is also one on the face of the nozzle. It's stamped with an E here. I've got this type of nozzle on the hose line that we've got here. Let's take a look at it and see what the water spray is. Cut. The electric nozzle here, and we're ready to spray water. As you open it up, you'll notice that it goes into a wide spray right away. This water pattern is called water fog. You'll notice that the spray is broken up into fine spray. There is no straight stream of water. This type of water spray can be used on anything where there is a potential of having electric power around it. Remember that it is better that we try and turn the electrics off first before we put water on it, rather than try and spray around the electrics. Turn it off first. The Lackawanna Fire Department is that they consider a coke spill a production problem, not a fire situation. Therefore, they may or may not assist you in taking care of a coke spill. That's why it's necessary that we know how to take care of it, how to take care of ourselves, and be aware that we may not be able to get their assistance at any time. The things that we've done today are not unique to this operation. It happens all over the place. Coke spills happen in any operation where they have a coke ovens. And in a lot of places, they may not be able to do any more for themselves than we do. So it's necessary that we all understand and protect ourselves the best way possible. The last thing that you ought to know about today when we discuss this is that after we use any of this equipment, it should all be drained, water in it that would freeze in the wintertime. We also need to roll it up and put it away, because any of this hose line that's laying out will rot, deteriorate, or any vehicles passing over it would cause it to break and no longer be serviceable for us. If you are driving a vehicle, it's important for you to know that if you have to, absolutely have to, go over a hose line, you should do it slowly, and two, you should never do it unless the hose line is charged. If you do it over an empty hose, the rubbing of the tires and the dirt cause that hose to break, and it makes it unserviceable. So if you absolutely have to, make sure that hose line is charged before you go over. Secondly, make sure that the man that's operating that hose line knows that you're doing it, because that will change the amount of water flow that he has and put him in some serious problems if he's not prepared for it. The diesel fire pump, if we use it, must also be drained, especially in the wintertime. We have had problems with the diesel pump over the years, freezing and the piping breaking because we have not drained it thoroughly. It should be done every time we use it and prepared as though it was wintertime. Thank you very much for your attention. Ed, Buck, and I certainly appreciate your help and all that you do for us. Thank you.
Oh, I feel silly. I see the little red light. Turn off of that.
Okay.